What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Today's episode, we have our Super Bowl recaps, talking about Mahomes' legacy. Who is fantasy running back number one, and some dynasty trade targets. Like I said, what is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. We're going to talk a little bit of Super Bowl, got some dynasty trade targets. The dudes are buzzing, I think. Jordan, how are we doing? You recovering okay? Had a lot of guys, kind of check in on you. I know it wasn't directly to you. Reach out to us on X at TFF Dudes, stuff like that. Just like, how's Jordan doing? Is he okay? Does this hurt Mahomes' legacy? Like, how are you doing, Jordan? Like, was the heartburn just from, the cheddar brats I made, or was it, from the Chiefs, horrible gameplay?
I mean, they obviously were pretty bad yesterday. Was not good for the old bankroll, the Chiefs losing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was better or worse that it was I knew about a quarter in that I was dead. Deader than I was just dead. And I part of me wishes it would have been closer, because then I wouldn't have felt completely like an idiot. But the other part of me, at least by halftime, I knew that I was gonna be on the wrong side of things. So I don't know. Good for Eagles fans.
Were you just glad you were in a room with friends?
Maybe half you guys I was glad I was in the room with. The other half, not so much.
It's what Jordan, hey, and to be fair, Jordan pulled all tricks out of his sleeves. You know what I'm saying? He was texting group texts congrats, Eagles, you've won the Super Bowl, stuff like that. He was trying all the jinx he could. It just wasn't enough. There was not enough he could do.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just say this? Anyone who actually has to interact with a real Eagles fan cannot be happy the Eagles won, because it's been brutal.
Yeah, and you're
you guys actually have to interact with any actual Eagle fans today? Did you guys have to interact with any of them?
I haven't. Eagles fans are brutal, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
I don't. I haven't experienced it, but
they're burning down their city, Phil. Have you seen that? They got horses. They have horses riding downtown. It is total Gotham City. People riding horses. They're tearing down light poles. They're tearing down stoplights. It is absolute madness. Throwing bricks through windows. It is complete Gotham, something you'd see on the movie. Eagles fans are brutal. I tell people all the time, people on the West Coast don't believe me. Eagles fans are worse than Raiders fans. Raiders get a bad rap. I think Eagles are right there with them, Jordan, right? They threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
I don't know. All I know is that you could not have rooted for the Eagles and be happy about how the outcome is if you had to deal with an Eagles fan all day today.
Yeah. I had a weird
50 arrests.
Yeah.
Following the Eagles win against Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a fraction. That's a fraction of what should have happened. So there's this
was
lady
in New Orleans though only. So there was probably some. Yeah, that was in New Orleans.
Yeah, look up Philadelphia. There was a lady who grabbed a guy by the back of his collar and threw him down on the ground. And the guy's trying not to fight her. She's trying to fight him. And the comments are this lady definitely should be arrested. I'm yeah, just ignore all the fires in the background and it's just they're in the middle of the street. They've totally taken over. The mayor begged them the day of the Super Bowl, make sure you don't tear down the city, if this happens. And they Vaselined every single light pole, hoping people won't climb them. It's mayhem, Phil. It's absolute mayhem.
38. So this is fans warm city streets to cheer. Of officers with Philadelphia Police Department made at least 38 arrests on charges ranging from vandalism and disorderly conduct to aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. Wow. There's some serious charges being thrown. Aggravated assault is pretty serious.
No, it's bad. It's I don't know. It's Seth when he used to lose in Fortnite, the things he would do to his bedroom. It's absolutely wild what's going on there. Seth, you're kind of a secret Eagles fan, right? You like Jalen Hurts.
And
yeah,
AJ
I
Brown.
mean, yeah, I like Jalen Hurts. He won me a championship 2 years ago, so I bought a shirt. I was like, hey, if he takes me to the championship and wins it for me, I'll buy a shirt. And I bought a shirt, and they ended up losing that year. And so I've kept the shirt, and I haven't worn it, outside of that one time, maybe one other time. And I was like, I'm not going to wear it just because, when wouldn't really care who won, but I would just prefer the Chiefs not to win. So I didn't wear it, and he won. So I will be wearing the shirt, I don't know, probably sometime this week, just because I have it and I need to wear it. So
it's a weird deal, Jordan, because like there was a guy working at my house today. He said, "Hey, you watched the Super Bowl?" Like, and he knows I watched the Super Bowl because he knows who I, like he knows about the pod and everything. He worked on the studio back here.
So hold on. First off, how many people do you think Trent just hoped would ask him if he watched the Super Bowl the day before?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the thing.
Honestly, only one person asked me, and it was this guy. It's like, I don't know, man. You worked on my podcast studio in the backyard. Do you think I watched it? But anyways.
Go ahead. Let's continue the story.
He's like, yeah, I did. Did you? He's like, I was so happy. Like, I just cannot stand the Chiefs. I'm like, oh, you an Eagles fan or a Raiders fan? He's like, oh no, 49ers. I just hate the Chiefs. I'm like, don't you hate the Eagles too? He's like, yeah, but just not as much. But like, I feel like that's pretty equal. Like the Eagles have knocked the Niners out a couple times. Like the stuff that was 2 years ago, and the Eagles beat the Niners, right? Yeah. 2 years ago when they didn't have Brock Purdy in the game. So there's just a lot of Mahomes hate, I would say, right now. And you got DeAndre Hopkins complaining after the game about the officiating. I really don't know if you can complain about the officiating when you lose by how much they lose by. You know what I'm saying? Like, close game. Yeah,
I did not see that.
Yeah.
How about Hopkins just catches the ball and runs in for a touchdown,
Exactly.
You could start there.
Yeah, I went on X and I said, guys, he's talking about the offensive pass interference call they called on A.J. Brown in the first quarter. Relax. And that just, was pouring gas on the fire, Phil. But,
that is crazy that he was. I guess it's like you want to blame something, like maybe blame the rest. But I didn't, honestly, that was that was that the first, there was a second drive, right? The first drive that the Eagles had. Yeah, that was probably the worst call of the game. Yeah. Outside of that, I felt like they were kind of fine, right?
Yeah, they just didn't really call anything, I didn't think. And then
which is what it should be. That's what I'm saying. That was a well-called game. As little calls as possible.
Did you guys see the stuff about Travis Kelce today? Like, it's just as like an hour ago got announced that. Did you see the outfit he wore?
No, I want to see this.
Okay.
No.
It was an outfit designed for women. So he was wearing women's clothes before the game. So that's just like a number one. That's like when Michael Scott
Is that like a Michael Scott thing?
Yeah, when Michael Scott shows up in women's pants and like they find out because he doesn't have pockets. Yeah, it was like one of those things. Like I don't know. These guys with their style stuff, it's just a weird deal. And he had Harrison Butker, like he had no clothes after the game. Someone took his suit. Like I think he had to like put his jersey back on. Like just absolute nightmare for a Chiefs wardrobe malfunction in the game there. But does this kind of mess up the Mahomes, like I'm not saying he's not on the Mount Rushmore, but does this kind of hurt the Mahomes just GOAT talk, like this loss? Or you think he's still got a shot?
It's not ideal. Yeah. I mean, it was the worst thing I've ever seen Mahomes play in the first half. Yeah. I mean, if you look at his stats actually probably end up fine because he had like the 3 touchdown passes and garbage time. But like that's the worst. Like he was throwing that weird overhand throw I've never seen him do before. Like just a weird game for Mahomes. So see how he bounces back. I mean, he's still been to like I think 7 AFC championships in a row or something stupid like that, and 5 of the last 7 Super Bowls or something. But I guess we just got to see how he bounces back here. It's not great for the conversation, though. Not great for the argument.
Be honest with me here, Jordan. Be honest with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't come up with a snarky response. How many uplifting DMs have you sent him post Super Bowl loss?
0. I've never sent him a DM in my life, Bill.
Okay. Hey, I wasn't sure.
Release the messages.
I could just see. I don't know. You're a supportive guy. Yeah. How many times did you slide into other? How many NBA players have you slid into their DMs with words of encouragement?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I don't know.
I am a normal human being, Phil.
Yeah. Words of encouragement. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I knew
how many MLB players.
Human being.
The guy who texted Caleb Williams as Ben Johnson's a legendary person, though.
That was awesome. That guy who texted Caleb Williams pretending to be Ben Johnson. That was so good.
Talk to him on the phone. That's legendary.
Yeah. Seth, I know you did.
His coach.
Yes, I know, Seth, you didn't come to our Super Bowl party. The only things you did miss
Thankfully.
is it was a little rough because like Phil showed up with eye black and like a white T-shirt that he put Eagles on. Jordan had a Mahomes headband on. So between those two things, I was like, okay, this is going to be a long party, guys. But
The most embarrassing part is Trent couldn't figure out how to turn his grill on. I had to help him. It was not only is he working with like a 12x12 Blackstone grill, he couldn't figure out how to get the propane going. Just the classic.
Yeah, he was trying to plug it into the wall, I heard.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Seth. I know how to turn on my Blackstone, and like I have it going lit, and Phil's like, "Oh, this is what you got to do." He turns the other one on, and it turns the other one off, and like hits the emergency valve, and I'm like thinking in my head, like, he's trying to be helpful. It's like when your little kids are like trying to help you and they end up like making it way worse. I'm like, oh, he's trying to be helpful. Just relax. He's like, and he keeps turning it on. I'm like, Phil, you don't do it like that. Don't ever touch another man's grill. Okay.
Balls.
Especially when you like don't have a spatula over 6 inches long. But Jordan, Tom Brady lost all 3 of his Super Bowls by a combined of 15 points. Patrick Mahomes lost last night by 18 points. I know it's not a terrible argument. Chiefs offensive line has to figure things out. The Eagles had 6 sacks, did not blitz one time. It was just 4 guys up front causing havoc.
Andy Reid had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Like, come on, you got to know that your offensive line's a disadvantage. Like, they didn't throw one screen, they didn't throw any quick stuff.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
They just never got going.
Ridiculous.
Well,
Never
I think
got
they did.
going.
I just think it got. I think I saw one screen that got blown up. It was trying to go to P. Ryan. That one got blown up, and then I don't know, man. It's just sure you can scheme all
reverses,
this and that, but
no reverses for Worthy. Like there's just I don't know.
There was one play that got shown on X. It just said, look at Sweat just blow up Travis Kelce with this swim move for the sack. And I'm like watching it and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was a screen to Kelce. Like I think Sweat just got there way too quick. So
yeah, there was one screen that they threw that they just got sniffed out pretty quickly. But I agree with you though, Jordan. Like there wasn't any trick.
Come on, Andy Reid
in there.
I'm over here saying you might be the best NFL coach of all time.
I was with you, Jordan.
Dude, like you got to be better. Like those 2 guys have to be better in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, you guys blew this game. Like the Chiefs' defense was good. They held Saquon Barkley. They did a good job. They basically did their job. They basically said, we're not going to let Saquon beat us. He didn't. Other than the one long bomb to Devontae Smith, like, and maybe that the first drive they scored on where they threw the pass to Dotson, they got the tush push. Like, how else did they score? They scored on a pick 6, another short field when Mahomes just throws a horrible interception at the 20-yard line. They were constantly having to go, defend short fields. I thought the Chiefs' defense was good. There was a couple
they can't do much more.
They had that hurt them, but Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid had to do better in that game.
Yeah. So What about P. Ryan, Phil? Did you see P. Ryan get blown off by Mahomes? He was the only guy who didn't get a high five, like on that one clip. There's a lot of cryptic meanings, people looking into it. Have you seen any of that, Phil? I know you're like our rabbit hole diver. Did you see that?
I have not. I did not see anything. I actually like P. Ryan. Is he just with the Chiefs for a 1-year deal, or where is he going?
I don't know. It was just a deal where Mahomes dabbed every guy up, and he just walks by P. Ryan, just totally leaves him hanging. Like I figured that would make your blood boil, Phil.
I do like P. Ryan. Maybe he's got beef with P. Ryan. I don't know. It was a rough game. Also, he was probably having a difficult time. What's funny was last year's Super Bowl when Travis Kelce got up in Andy Reid's grill.
Yes. Yeah, they almost needed a moment like that. I don't know.
They needed it to fire. Yeah. They were just flat the entire game. They and last year they were flat too until that happened, and then things kind of got going, and then they picked it up. But I don't know. I don't really know what it is. It also maybe I know that they were sick. They had some bad clams.
That was the Eagles. The Eagles were the ones who were sick.
Oh, so they didn't have the bad shellfish.
No. So I'm reading this right here 5 hours ago. Chiefs may be forced to release Travis Kelce this offseason due to his $19.8 million cap hit. This would be the highest cap hit for a tight end in the entire league. Kelce struggled this season. So that's a big, unless can they restructure something like that? I don't, how it works.
He's not going to play for any other team.
I don't think so either.
Retirement.
Yeah.
They might release him, re-sign him to a lower deal, a restructured deal.
Yeah. So anything else we want to talk about Super Bowl here? You know, Gatorade was yellow. Hurts was the MVP. Seth said yellow. I have not corrected.
I also said
those things.
yellow. I will say that I had an embarrassing moment there. I was like, oh yeah, he hit the over. He's at 1 minute and 50 seconds, and Jordan's like, this is just embarrassing, dude. Like that is absolutely not the over.
Best part of that is, and I said, Phil, that's not 120 seconds, and you go, yeah, it is, and I was like, no, it's not, and you were like, oh. No,
I was like, it was not my best moment. That was Jordan's only win, I think, of the win of last night, and I'll gladly give it to him.
No, he got.
It was
tails.
an embarrassing
Coin flip.
Yeah, you got tails. Okay, you got tails. Coin flip. I will say one of the best things to do at a Super Bowl, if you are not invested at all, you have no team in, is just dollar bets. Trent's dad and I had we probably exchanged $40 back and forth between us and probably both finished at scratch. Like, I don't think anyone lost any money.
Yeah, I had a listener of the pod, reach out. Aaron told me that I think he put $50 on the coin toss, did tails, and, made his money right there. Just went all in on the coin toss right there. But speaking of that, I don't think there's anyone like Eagles are the happiest, obviously. I think Raiders are in like a whole nother tier of equally as happy Raiders fans as Eagles fans. Like they are just like cloud nine. Like everyone I heard talking about the Super Bowl saying how bad it was, like Raider fans came to work today with an extra pep in their step. They were just absolutely happy. Chiefs got killed. I had Aaron reach out to me. He's just like, this was one of the best Super Bowls of my lifetime. I'm a Raiders fan. I love how bad the Chiefs got beat. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. This is just, the Raiders. I was at a spot where I just didn't really like either team. I didn't feel like I got heavily invested in it like I normally did. I think it was the most watched Super Bowl ever. I think I saw from Fox, or highest one Fox has had, Jordan. They released some numbers.
You told me that no one was going to watch it.
I said, have you heard that stuff? I never said I didn't think anyone was going to watch it. I did know more people, though, who did not watch, though, but I figured it wouldn't matter. I knew a couple people went to Disneyland, a couple people went snowboarding, but the people watch. You know what I'm saying? That's not accounting for all the people who only watch the Super Bowl. So should we dive into some other stuff here, guys? We had some decent talks. I thought sparked a little bit of conversation, stuff we could talk today about running back, stuff like that. You guys want to dive into that or any other Super Bowl stuff? Phil, was my food okay? Food was good. There was no charcuterie board or Cubanos, no nacho cheese. We had chili, hot dogs, brats though, stuff like that. Food was good.
Sliders. We did bring.
What, Jordan?
The sliders were good, Phil, but Phil's wife, definitely the MVP of the party with those s'mores bars.
Those s'mores bars are really good.
Those s'more bars are unreal.
Really good.
Those are really good.
I also, did you have any of that jalapeno popper dip?
Phil, I got to redo this party. The stuff that got put in the corner by the door, like the chili, the meatballs, the popper dip, it didn't get eaten. So we got to figure out a way to maneuver that, give it better real estate.
Open it up.
I don't think it was fair to judge some of the stuff there that was in the back corner by the door back here, if you're watching on YouTube, because all the rest of the food was outside. So, guys, head over to YouTube at TFF Dudes. What'd you say?
I said I blame that party placement on you.
Yeah, but
I
switched it up a little bit more, Phil. I switched up a little bit more to fit more people in here a little bit more comfortably.
Here's the other win: the bounce house.
Bounce house is always a win, except I had to tell you to keep getting out of it. Other than that, it was a lot of fun. But
was a former pod member in the bounce house when you walked out? Former pod member
was in the bounce house, out of breath. It was embarrassing. But Samuel, might be time to do a little more cardio, I will say. I was kind of thinking about getting an inhaler for him, but Phil did not bring his. I don't have one. So today's episode's brought to you by our friends over at Underdog. Underdog Fantasy is the absolute best place for DFS guys. It is, I believe we can start doing best ball drafts here shortly if you can't already. Best ball is a lot of fun. Great way to prep for the draft, maybe win some cash while you're at it. Head over to Underdog Fantasy, promo code DUDES, match you up to $1,000, guys. We'll be doing some best ball drafts. They got baseball on there, basketball, all kinds of good stuff, guys. Head over to Underdog. Tell them we sent you. If you need a new trophy for this upcoming fantasy football season, there is no better place to go to than www.trophysmack.com/dudes. 15% off your whole entire order, guys. Sky is the limit there. All kinds of personalization you can do there. Ribbons, last place trophies, participation trophies, busts of Patrick Mahomes if you still want one of those, toilet seat covers for last place, unicorn pop toppers. They really got everything going on there. Belts, you can upload photos, pictures, everything, championship rings, trophysmack.com/dudes, 15% off your whole entire order, guys. And best place to play fantasy football, our friends over at Sleeper. Over Sleeper, enter promo code dudes100. They'll match you up to $100, guys. You don't just play fantasy football there. You can do all your other, NBA, MLB, all kinds of good stuff over there at Sleeper. They got all kinds of promos, Sunday promos, good stuff like that. Head over to Sleeper, guys. That is our words of, those are some affiliate links there. Really helps us out, guys. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Really helps us out. Head over to YouTube at TFF Dudes. Give us a like and give us a sub. So, Jordan, the guy at the party, asked this. Dylan said, who's wide receiver or who's running back one on the season? And it sparked a little bit of discussion. For next year, who's RB fantasy? We'll do rankings, stuff like that in the offseason, but it's officially offseason now. And who's RB1 for the fantasy season upcoming here?
I think my answer to that is, the short answer, I think it's Gibbs. But I could see Saquon end up going RB1. I think for me it'll be Gibbs, though. But I wouldn't be shocked if the consensus is Saquon. Kind of see, I guess, where the consensus falls on that. But I'm definitely Gibbs, I think.
Do you think, though, that the Lions might want to keep another running back that they'll use a decent amount? Like, I think the Lions like having that 1-2 punch. Obviously, Gibbs is, like, the guy there. But I think honestly, I think they might keep Montgomery and, like, still use him a decent amount. Like, maybe they use him a little bit less. But, I mean, Montgomery had a decent year, too.
No, I agree. I just think that I still think he's RB1, though. I mean, his touchdowns were up. It felt like they were up this year compared to what they have been. I think they figured out how to use Gibbs a lot in the passing game. But, yeah, I mean, definitely that is the argument. I think that's the argument against him going RB1 is the fact that you're still going to have to deal with not getting a full workload. But, I mean, Bijan has the same issue.
Yeah, who has a full workload these days? Like, I don't know.
Saquon.
Bijan's who I would say. I think Bijan finally gets there.
Yeah. Bijan's probably. I don't know. I don't know if McCaffrey will not have. McCaffrey will not have a full workload next year. I don't think.
I think it's done.
I don't think McCaffrey.
What, Jordan?
Bijan has the same argument. Like, they're gonna use other guys. Like, I don't like. Nothing has shown you that they're willing to give Bijan a full workload. Just like the Lions don't want to give Gibbs a full workload.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with younger and Gibbs is good. I just don't see Bijan having that guy like a Montgomery that comes in and gets double-digit TDs, or let's just say 8 rushing TDs. Even though Gibbs pulled away, I like both of them a lot. I like Gibbs. I like Bijan. I think I'm still going to just say, like, Bijan's time, I feel like, is coming. I know I had him as my consensus one this year for myself, but I am still in on, Team Bijan as my RB1 for this fantasy season.
Hey, Trent, you said Bijan was younger? Is that what you said?
I thought Bijan's younger. Is he older than Jahmyr?
He's older. He's older by 1 year.
Okay, well... Yeah, I'm still going to lean Bijan, but yeah, I thought he was younger.
Saquon here, full workload, had a crazy season.
Actually, he's younger by 2 months. Trent, sorry.
Okay. I felt like he was. It's hard to say with college rules now, right? Like you just, I assume, but I think Michael Penix is like older than. He's older than a couple quarterbacks, right?
Kirk Cousins.
No.
Penix
is older than a couple QBs.
Yes, for sure.
Is he older than Burrow? I think it's pretty close, I thought.
No, he's not older than Burrow.
Not older than Burrow.
He's I think he's 24. Burrow is
Well, Bo Nix and Herbert played each other in college. I know Bo Nix is really old. Penix isn't that old.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is 4 years older than him. Yeah.
Have you guys dug into Rule 370? Has anyone heard about that? I kind of mentioned it to you, Jordan. Have you heard of that? Other than from me?
No.
So I'll just read what I have here. So the curse of 370 is what it's called, okay?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Curse of 370 typically refers to only to carries. It does not include receptions. The original concept was basically the idea that a running back who reaches 370 or more carries in a season is at a high risk of decline or injury the following year. However, some analysts have expanded on this idea, consider total touches, so counting carries and receptions when evaluating workload concerns, but the classic version was solely on rushing attempts. So just some players who have had over 370 carries, what they did the following year. Larry Johnson in 2006. Seth, I don't know if you were born then, but Larry Johnson had 416 carries for the Chiefs, went absolutely crazy that year. And then the following season, he had 158. So suffered injury and decline, so only played 8 games. Jamal Anderson, 1998, I believe that was the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, had 410 carries in 1998. The following year, 1999, only had 19 carries. James Wilder, I don't even know where this guy played. I feel like I should know that. Do you know where he played, Jordan? 1984.
No idea.
407 carries, dropped to 365. So still maintained that high workload. Dickerson, he maintained it. Eddie George maintained it pretty well. DeMarco Murray went 392 in Dallas to 193 in Philadelphia. And then Derrick Henry in 2020 went 378 to 219. And CMC's up there as well. We saw that. So you can go through all the list.
Did you say LaDainian Tomlinson or no?
LaDainian Tomlinson's like the only guy who was solid back-to-back years having over 370.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I didn't hear him on there. Cool.
Yeah, so no, he wasn't on. Yeah, so he was on there, but yeah, he's one of the guys that did good. So there are some, but that's just kind of the rule of thumb. Is Barkley 29 this year? I think he just turned 28, or did he just turn 29? His birthday was yesterday. Him and Cooper DeJean were the birthday boys there. I know everyone
turned 28.
Just turned 28. So he's still got a little bit of prime left, but
young for sure.
Yeah, but he had a lot of
just
touches
2 years
season.
younger than Todd Gurley. Just crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. So Barkley had 345 carries, and then in the postseason he had 91 carries. So yeah, 436 total carries. So he's a guy that it's the curse of 370. It's worth monitoring on there for all that stuff. So I think we're kind of all over the board here. We got Saquon, we got Bijan, and we have Gibbs.
Trent, I have a question. Like, what would be the most off the board? Like, if you had to if you were betting odds, like obviously like Barkley, Gibbs, Bijan would all be the favorites. Like, what's your lowest like your double digit odds? You're 20-1 guy to be the number one. Like
to
RB1.
Be the number one, I would have to pull up a list and kind of look.
I have two that I think would be. I think Chase Brown or Bucky Irving would be like guys that like your most off the wall, off the board, like realistic RB1 guys. I could see those two guys. So
that's another guy who was on the 370 rule last year. Who's the guy that Bucky? Why can't I think of Bucky, the starter at Tampa this year?
Rachaad White.
Yeah, Rachaad White was a 370 guy last year. So you got Bucky. Yeah. So you think Bucky could be a guy that could finish as one, is what you said?
Yeah. I think Chase Brown's another one. I mean, obviously it's like the low. I mean, they're long shots, but like if you made me like, I'm just taking a couple long shots there.
Yeah, I would say maybe James Cook would be a long shot for me. I don't know if I trust Achane to stay healthy as much as I want it to be Achane. I just feel like everyone's Achane. Or so I said James Cook, and I kind of like your Bucky call there, but just to be different, maybe Kyron Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyron's a good one.
Yeah, Seth, are you kind of in the same vein with what I have there? It's kind of hard to go 20-1.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say if someone's going to get hurt or not, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't think Saquon's going to get hurt, but then it's like, I mean, how can I say that? But he also hasn't had like the same injury history that we see with like a CMC, and like now we actually get to see Saquon on a good team. Like, I mean, it'd be really cool, he's going to be the 1-1 next year. So
Yeah.
that's what you're drafting him for.
Yeah, Sirianni wants to run it back. He's trying to bring everybody back, but I don't think Kellen Moore cannot go. Like, Kellen Moore's kind of a lock for the Saints, right?
He already is the coach.
Did they announce that today, Jordan?
I thought they already
Has
announced
that officially been announced? I didn't know that was.
I thought that.
I think it was safely
maybe
assumed, right?
I think everyone's assuming that it'd be hilarious if he ended up just not taking it.
Trent, how does it feel that guy was like on the Cowboys
and like chose to not do it and chose to leave on his own?
Yep.
Okay.
What does it say?
I'm seeing last win, but I don't know if there's anything like official that said he's done it, Jordan. I think everyone's kind of assuming. So 48 minutes ago, this guy said if Kellen Moore gets hired, possible staff. So I think he's kind of a lock, but I don't know if he's for sure said like.
an hour ago, I see your Saints to hire Eagles Kellen Moore.
Okay. So, yeah, I
So,
think
and what was the
gonna-
question again? A top, basically a guy out of the top 15 that you think
Yeah, like
could
a
be
20 to
end up
1
being number
odds
one?
to finish as one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a long shot to finish as RB1.
Yeah. Are you asking me, or I was just reassessing the question.
Yeah. Phil, you go Breece Hall or something, like what?
I was gonna say I could see Kenneth Walker bouncing back.
That's not a. I mean, it's not a.
It's if he's, but again, stays
Here's the
healthy.
thing. Here's the thing. McDonald is committed to Geno Smith. Like I think they're going to continue to run the ball a good amount, and if he stays healthy, who knows? I feel like he could at least finish top 5.
So we were hating on. I'll be honest, we were hating on Geno a little bit yesterday. Like I'm not gonna lie and act like we did.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
For sure.
But he actually, I think he was like 4th in passing yards this year, Phil.
He'll chuck though. Like that's the thing. Like he just senses where DK Metcalf is at, and he just.
Well, no,
I also would want to know how many interceptions he has.
They unlocked JSN this year.
I want to know how many interceptions he had though.
I can tell you right now. So Geno was 4th. So top 4. Darnold was 5th. Geno at 4. Baker at 3. Jared Goff at 2. Burrow at 1. Interceptions for Geno, he was at 15. And so if I go to most interceptions in the league, Baker and Kirk both had 16. Geno was in 3rd at 15. CJ Stroud and Will Levis were tied at 12. Man, Will Levis representing with only 12 games played. Basically won in every game. Yeah. Anthony Richardson threw 12 in only 11 games,
Yeah, so I guess it's not saying much. I don't know. I could also see, Jordan would hate this, but I could also see if the Raiders had a decent running back, I could also see whoever it was ended up there playing for Pete Carroll, just running the absolute snot out of the ball, like him looking to just get a beast he's just gonna feed every single play.
Yeah. Well, hey, 20 to 1, like, can you say Ginty? Like, I don't think that's probably 20 to 1.
Yeah,
odds.
I don't know what he. I looked to see if there's any odds for leading rusher for next year. Couldn't find anything yet.
Yeah,
so.
depends where he
Depends
goes.
on what team he goes to, though, right?
Yeah. And we'll have some free agency, prediction shows coming up, but it seems like Sam Darnold is like the most I just feel like Raiders is where he's going to go. I've seen some Jets fans saying they want to run it back with Darnold, but I think if I'm Darnold, I'm like I don't. They got to give you a crazy amount of money for you to want to step foot in that building again. I think. So
I don't know. I feel that way about the Raiders too, though, Trent.
Yeah, but they say Brady's basically calling the shots there. Like if Brady tells you, and I think you would rather go the Raiders and pick the enemy you don't know than the enemy. Is it better to pick the enemy you don't know or the enemy you know? I don't know.
We talked about this also yesterday. Did he play for Pete Carroll at SC, or was Carroll gone by then?
I told you he did not play for Pete Carroll.
Gone, way gone.
He's definitely gone.
Tell me you're a USC fan without telling me you're a USC fan,
or tell me you're a Seahawks fan.
Yeah, that is the most Southern California take of all time, Phil. They got the Rams then, and Phil quit being a Trojans fan then. I think.
Yeah, it was a full 5 to 7 years before. That makes me sick.
Seth,
my bad.
I specifically told Phil, no, he was gone. Like, they had, Helton, and he just, I don't know if like what I say is not good enough. Maybe Phil, is that what it is?
I don't trust you, and that I think is
Fair,
probably
that's fair.
pretty common throughout your friends.
That's fair. I get that a lot. Don't know why. Okay. Next here on the list, wide receiver 1. What are we thinking? Wide receiver 1.
Chase.
You're going Chase is just a lock there. Seth,
I think Chase is a lock.
I think Chase is the safest one, right? Because if it's Darnold's not in Minnesota, we don't know what McCarthy's going to be like. But also, it seems like Jefferson is QB proof, but also Darnold, I think, played above expectation, right?
Yeah, well, they're not going to have Darnold. I don't know if J.J. McCarthy's going to be ready or not. It sounds like they might be throwing Daniel Jones in there, but I agree. Jefferson, wide receiver 2, finished this year. To go 1, man, it'd be interesting to see what happens if the Giants got like a totally like really good QB. Hard to say right now. I think it's hard to go against Chase, especially if like T. Higgins ends up leaving.
Yeah, no, you have to say Chase. It's like the only logical answer right now.
Yeah.
I think other like interesting guys. I think like Puka. I don't know like what his odds would be to be like the leading receiver in the NFL, but like Puka. I think like a really interesting one is like this is a Marvin Harrison. I don't know if like his quarterback's there, but like he's definitely talented enough. Nico Collins. Who's like another one? Like Terry's probably interesting.
Could we get?
I think another one is like Xavier Worthy. Like we saw what he did last night. Like I think that he's just going to be the guy going forward for the Chiefs. So I think he's interesting, in that offense. Well, hopefully,
he definitely developed more as the year went on, right? And it was pretty obvious to see he kind of leveled up in playoffs and stepped up there. It'll be interesting to see if what the jump he makes in year 2. I think year 3 he could be really legit though.
What about
it's possible he makes that jump a year early though.
Well, now
you got Rashee Rice coming back too.
Coming back, assuming that he doesn't get suspended, which I wouldn't be surprised if he does get suspended. But like how that works out. But I mean, like you've got to think that like he built so much equity with Mahomes this year that he might be the guy.
Yeah. You think we've heard the end of Tyreek Hill? You think maybe he comes out and just, he said he was frustrated, said he's probably going back to the Dolphins. Like, do we just get a revenge tour of Tyreek Hill? Like, that could be some really nice draft capital.
I just don't believe in Tua. You got to believe in the quarterback to think that, and I don't believe in Tua. So,
okay. Well, with that, I said we're going to do some dynasty targets, off-season targets, good dynasty trade targets. So I got a couple QBs here, and I mostly was gearing this towards wide receivers, but I feel like QBs are too obvious, right? Like Bryce Young, maybe the window's closed there, Jordan. Maybe I don't kind of showed some promise. I still think Drake May is going to be legit, and like we made fun of him, but I think Geno Smith, he was 4th in passing yards. Super
you
flex
made fun
league.
of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, it's true. It was me. Geno Smith, super flex league. I think he's worth taking a dart throw at, like 4th in passing yards. Caleb Williams with the super good, offensive coach gets it done. CJ Stroud, probably the best opportunity if you believe in CJ Stroud.
No, I think there's a better one. Trevor Lawrence, Trent. I don't want to be that guy, but
I knew you were going there.
Like,
yikes.
Yikes. No, listen. I get it. Like, I'm a Jaguars fan, but like, if you think he's talented at all and you don't have him, this is your buy low time. Like, a new coach, your price is never going to be cheaper. But like on the positives, like there's some talent there. He's shown that he can be a good NFL quarterback at times. And the talent's there. You don't have to worry about the weapons. So I don't know. I think this is your time to buy low on Trevor Lawrence if you believe in him at all. I honestly don't. I'm not saying that I believe in it. I'm just saying like I think the time is now. Like because there's a world where he's really good next year, and
bad division.
The offense is really good. Bad division. but it's like the price will never get cheaper than it is right now.
And that's, like I have Chris Godwin as Jacksonville as a potential landing spot for Chris Godwin. Go back with his old OC that kind of unlocked him this past year. I think it'd be a good landing spot.
I think they're going to just draft a wide receiver, but
yeah, probably so. But and then it's not bad there, Jordan. Herbert, I feel like guys are still sleeping on Herbert. He I read somewhere he had a better December than Burrow did, like his passing stats. Like Burrow's December was really quiet for whatever reason. People weren't talking about it, but with Lad McConkey, maybe they get him another weapon there as well. Full, second year with Harbaugh in that offseason. So let's throw this over to the wide receivers. Kind of a dynasty pod, looking to do more dynasty stuff. Maybe this offseason, just give us a little bit more to work with. You mentioned him, Jordan. Like probably your last chance to buy Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Like, I guess we can just say buy or sell on these guys, right? Like, I think you got to buy Marvin Harrison Jr. A year ago, people kind of wrote JSN off, as just, garbage and not worth anything. And I think if you capitalized on that and got JSN, I think you're pretty happy, dynasty wise with how good he did. Nice little bounce back there. And I think he's only going to get better. And I would put Marvin Harrison Jr. in that same vein. We used that word a lot before the pod, Phil, just talking about stuff. So I would put Marvin Harrison in that, like JSN, Ohio State guy. So I think you got to go for him. I know Kyler Murray wasn't great. Like maybe I think with Kyler Murray, we kind of have what we have. Like I saw the whole thing of Kingsbury, all the quarterbacks he's worked with. Like the only guy he really wasn't able to unlock was Kyler Murray. So I think they've brought in guys to kind of work with him. I don't know what you have to do other than maybe, limit his screen time, how you can make Kyler Murray better for, for this offense, for, the Cardinals. And, So
are you saying screen time, like lower his gaming time? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay. Hey, I'm just being sure. Hey,
yeah.
Albeit for me that I make a error on this pod, No,
that's good. No, I'm happy. You guys kind of agree with what I'm saying there? You're not ready. No, there's no sells
I agree.
on Marvin.
I agree. No.
Yeah. All right. Now, Phil, you want to read these here and just go in order like with what I have, or you want me to keep going?
No, I think, where do you want me to?
I can keep going here. It's fine.
I was just chiming in on some commentary periodically.
Yeah, no, you're doing good. I got Roma Dunze. I think Ben Johnson, how he
buy.
Absolute buy, slam dunk there. Do we know what's going on with Keenan Allen? Is there any?
He's old.
He's old. Are we haven't really reacted to it. We all like fans of the Ben Johnson move there, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan, I think
it's promising. Promising. I mean, we'll obviously see how it goes. I mean, I'm curious to know, was that the biggest offer he got was from them?
I think that's kind of where he wanted to go to,
probably the best fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm sure I'm sure the Saints threw a ton of money at him, and I'm sure the Raiders did too, right? It's just maybe the better system there, and Chicago already established.
Yeah, Saints is just that's just a rebuild. I don't, have you guys seen the Derek Carr rumors? I know they're just rumors, but there's people, big accounts saying Raiders trade 4th round pick for Derek Carr to send him back, and I think it'd be kind of funny if they did that. I could see it happening. Those were easy. Marvin Harrison Jr., Roma Dunze, 2 former 1st-round draft picks from this past year. Absolute buys if there's a guy in your league that's just, totally down. I got Roman Wilson. I was high on this guy last year. If Pickens ends up leaving.
Steelers?
He's on the Steelers. He was hurt this year. If Pickens ends up getting.
Sell.
You're doing sell? You think Pickens comes back? I guess we don't know who the quarterback is for sure, right? I just think Pittsburgh's just good at developing wide receivers always. I think you should be able to get Wilson maybe cheap unless there's a diehard Wolverines fan in there.
What was the last good? I might sound like a dumb here, but tell me the last good Michigan wide receiver.
Last good Michigan wide receiver Off the top of my head, I want to say it was that guy on the Browns. What was his name? It wasn't.
Not that good if you can't remember his name.
Was it Brian Edwards? Was that his name? Braylon Edwards. Was he Michigan State or was he Michigan Wolverines? I think Braylon Edwards was pretty good. He might be Michigan State, Jordan. He might be Michigan State. Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I
was I right?
I was just gonna look up their wide receivers, but
okay. I thought you were looking at Braylon Edwards. I feel like Braylon Edwards might be the last, and he was on the Browns, and I think you put Braylon Edwards anywhere else, he would have been a pretty solid wide receiver. Phil is going to say Charles Woodson here.
It was Braylon Edwards, yeah.
Yeah,
Braylon Edwards.
I think if Braylon Edwards.
What about Nico Collins?
There you go, Jordan. Nico Collins. Phil from left field. There we go. Yes. How many people are screaming in their cars right now, Nico Collins, that whole entire time? I'm sure there was
probably a lot of were.
Yeah. Roman Wilson, though, I just think
that's embarrassing.
I think that's a guy that gets maybe potentially gets developed. And if Pickens leaves, which they're talking about, maybe Pickens leaves, he might just be the guy by default. But maybe the other guy we should be talking about is Trey Tucker's on the Raiders. Who's the guy that Russell Wilson was throwing all those to? The little guy, Calvin Austin. Maybe he's the guy there. I don't know.
McConkey?
McConkey. I don't think you can get, I think you have to throw a bag at McConkey.
Yeah.
Absolutely buy McConkey, but I think it's going to take a lot. You might have to throw a first-round draft pick in there, and maybe that's worth it.
I think it's worth it. Honestly, I think it's – I mean, if you have like me, I have a ton of draft picks this year, and if I don't get the draft pick position I want, I'm going to go for some players here. Yeah. And McConkey's definitely one I think you can throw 2 first rounds at and get him.
So here's the problem with McConkey is you actually, yes, Seth, you probably can get him because where he went in drafts, I think he was on the back end of the first round, so he probably went to a team that's pretty good. So you might be able to get McConkey or someone else on that team. You can go pillage that. Jordan, are you finding anyone else good from Michigan, or what are we browsing?
No, I was Nico Collins.
Actually, don't tell us.
I did not realize he went to Michigan, and I was just like, why do I not remember this guy at Michigan? And his quarterback was Shea Patterson, and then he didn't even play his senior year because of COVID. So, yeah, I don't even remember who Shea Patterson was.
You don't remember Shea?
No, I'm blanking on Shea Patterson.
Yeah, he wasn't that special, obviously.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like the shoestring.
I mean, Nico Collins' best year in college was 700 yards receiving. It wasn't like it was even 729 yards.
Was he
37 catches?
When was his rookie year, Jordan?
2021.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember his rookie year being that crazy either. So he was kind of I think he's one of those outliers that was a late bloomer at the wide receiver position, right?
Yeah, his first, he went 446 yards his rookie year, 481 his second year, and then he just exploded in his third year for 80 catches, 1,300 yards. Yeah. This year, 68 catches, 1,000 yards.
I can't believe Phil said Nico Collins, and it wasn't he didn't yell like Desmond Howard or Charles Woodson. Proud of you, Phil. Those were the guys that I first went to, Did Denard Robinson play running back in the NFL, shoestring Jordan, or did he play wide receiver?
No, he played both.
Okay. And then next, Jordan Whittington. What do we think about this guy? I think Cooper Kupp heading out. I think he's a huge buy option, No Cooper Kupp. Yeah. Phil, you might remember him, the Texas guy. He had really long hair. Now he's on the Rams. Good old Witty. So I think buy there. Jalen McMillan, no Chris Godwin. He's going to get really expensive. I think you should sign him before Godwin. And then Kayshon Boutte. Did I say his name right there, Jordan? The guy gamble. You're going to sell? The guy gambles on himself, Jordan. I think you got to go with a guy like that, right? Did he get...
Absolutely.
Yeah, if anyone willing to bet on themselves, I'm all in on.
Is that even legal?
It's not legal, Seth. Absolutely not legal. He got in trouble for it. Yeah.
Pretty quick, pretty easy answer. No.
I don't know. I didn't hear that he got in trouble for that. So I didn't.
Yeah, it was.
He was just taking the under too, which is weird.
Only unders, just frown.
And he was just dropping passes all the left and right.
It was always catch props. The only thing worries me about me, Jordan, is they will bring someone in. The Patriots will bring someone in here, but I still think that could help him as well. So that's why I think he's a buy. He finished the season off his last 2 games. He was a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy points. Targets, he had over 6 targets every game but 2 since week 8. So I do like Kayshon Boutte. And then obvious, like we got no Deebo Samuel potentially in the 49ers. You think they actually trade him or you think he stays?
Yeah.
I just don't. He did everything he could in his power to make sure he was worth absolutely nothing in case they traded him, finish the season so bad. Huge buy with Ricky Purcell. If you're like us on the West Coast, you probably, couldn't pry Ricky Purcell away from 49ers hands, 49er fans' hands. Xavier Legette, I think, with the Panthers there, I think that's a good ad.
A bit of an odd duck, huh?
Odd duck, definitely, but great guy. Would love to have him on the pod.
Loves to eat raccoon.
Yeah, like I am not saying I
like
to eat
raccoon and squirrel.
I have tried squirrel, have not tried raccoon.
See, I might be interested in trying a squirrel. I would not touch a raccoon. That is nasty.
I had a coonskin hat growing up. I did have a raccoon hat.
So did I.
Yeah, so that was cool. But did not eat raccoon. Yeah, it just seems like it's just one step below a cat on the food chain. You know what I'm saying? Maybe above. They're meaner. You don't have pet raccoons. Yeah. What, Seth?
No, I would agree. Trent.
Eat trash. Raccoons eat trash. They're not.
Correct.
They're nasty.
No, it's ugh.
Yeah.
It just makes me sick.
Yeah. And they're kind of mean. Like, you remember that one on Pocahontas, always stealing cookies and stuff, like hanging out with that hummingbird? No one on here watch Pocahontas?
I haven't.
Once upon the riverbed.
All right. No, I wouldn't. I would not eat raccoon. I think I'd rather starve than eat raccoon. It makes. They're just like you have to.
John Smith was a good guy, and he was friends with that raccoon. So
you have to cook them. You have to cook them longer than you have to cook them like it's. I think it's worse than eating pork. Like you have to cook them to an extremely high temp because of what they eat.
Are you Googling this, or are you just pulling stats out of the air?
No.
Or you're Googling this?
No, I know.
Chat
just off the top of my head.
Who do you know that has eaten raccoons? Like, hey, you got to cook those things longer than pork. Like, I don't see you knowing this off the top of your mind. Who do you know that's eating raccoon, Phil?
Well, I watch a lot of meat
television,
and they talk about it. So put the let's see, how long do you have to cook a raccoon? Let's put temperature attached to that.
Probably 185 degrees, just like a chicken. So I'm shocked.
No,
you don't do the whole. Please, debone it. Don't leave it on the bone, for goodness sake.
So here I'm doing it again. What temp is raccoon done?
It is painful how long it takes you to type with your carpal tunnel.
I did a couple.
Here you go. Slow cook it, slow
Jordan.
by oven or using a smoker. After properly cleaning and removing the scent glands. Season it with salt, pepper, and your preferred spices. It doesn't really say oven, 250 to 300 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like
Cook
at
for
least
several
30
hours
minutes.
if you want to roast it. Yeah. Smoker, 225, several hours.
So you have to get it to 160. It's basically the same as chicken. Pork is 145. Chicken is 160.
Okay.
No,
well, thank you for that.
They're different.
Phil was asking me if I had medium rare chicken at the party yesterday. It was really weird. No, reason it took Phil 20 minutes to Google that is he was looking for a recipe that he had tried that he liked. I'm like, Phil, just pick the first recipe that comes up. He has to get something that has like Danos on it or something. I don't know.
I will Danos. I would never eat raccoon.
Yum,
That's
get me
all I'm
some.
saying. All right, would you eat raccoon? If we ordered some raccoon, would you eat it?
Yes.
I would try it.
I would.
Yeah.
All right,
I've had frog legs. I've had squirrel. I will have raccoon.
You say frog legs. Frog legs and raccoon are not in the same category for wild food. Yeah. All right. Well, why'd you throw
I
that
think
in
there's
there,
a lot of people in the city that would put them in the same category. Let me
No,
know on
because
YouTube if
frog
you'd rather
legs are
have
sold-
raccoon or frog.
Frog legs are sold at like nice restaurants, Trent.
I'm sure there's some restaurants that have nice restaurants that have raccoon.
I don't know.
Probably
Hey,
not.
I don't
Probably
know,
not.
man. Hey,
South,
hey.
you never know.
Trent, go out and see the world, brother. I don't know how you got to that. All right, let's move on
Hey.
here.
Hey, in Peru, the delicacy is guinea pig. So
Yeah,
you know,
Phil.
like
There's probably somewhere in the world that, like China, raccoon might be a delicacy that like, I don't know, Phil. So
I don't know. Let's see. Where is raccoon a delicacy?
it's probably only America. I don't know. I think they're native
Georgia,
here.
probably in Georgia or
Yeah.
Alabama.
South Carolina.
in the American South and in some other parts of the world, including Ohio and other regions, like other parts of the world, including Ohio. It could have just said their neighbors to the north, Ohio. I don't.
Right.
Kitsum Kamalan culture hunted raccoons as a major food source. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a
Get
couple
cultured,
things
Phil.
there.
Get cultured. You absolutely got bodied on this take. Just want to let you know. Troy Franklin, I'm going to go buy here with the Broncos.
Bye.
Going by.
Yeah, I'll go
I
buy
think they're
here,
all
too.
buys. Like I think you can get these guys for cheap. Maybe that. Like I throw
one,
some
no.
draft picks. What, Seth?
No, not this next one. I'm not buying this next guy.
Adonai Mitchell. You're not going to buy him?
No.
Why not?
Adonai.
I think I'm in between there. I don't know.
I don't trust Richardson.
We don't know. He might not even be the quarterback, but if they do something like brought Darnold in there, I bet Adonai.
AD.
Maybe-
Yeah,
goes up.
but I think that's when you
AD.
wait though. Like I don't think you sell or buy him right now. I think you wait to see who the quarterback is first.
He's a good throw-in option though, like a second guy.
Sure, but like, are you going to waste a third round draft pick for this guy? Like, I don't know if I do that.
Yeah, I don't know who you got in any of your dynasty drafts that maybe was better than someone like this. Like usually your third round like might not have anything. I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
it's just
true.
a thought. I think they're all worth throwing in there. You just kind of got to figure out how to do it. Then Jordan, just for you, Luke McCaffrey, man. Like, do we think this guy ever gets a shot? I know this was like this. We were like almost a Luke McCaffrey pod this past season. Like maybe it just takes him a little bit of time, still getting his feet wet. Playing wide receiver. He played wide receiver
Love to
for a
see.
while. Sorry. Was it
Yeah,
his
love
brother
to
who
see.
played quarterback at Michigan, or was it him?
At Michigan. No, he played quarterback, but it wasn't at Michigan. It was at
I thought one of them went to Michigan.
I don't think he
thought one of
played
the
quarterback. I
McCaffreys.
thought though.
I thought
No,
one
I think
was-
he
You're
did play
thinking of
quarterback
Nico
at
Collins.
He
Oh,
he
Nico
played
Collins, shoot.
he played quarterback at Nebraska, I think.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're right there. I thought one McCaffrey went to Michigan. I'm not sure. That's kind of my list on wide receivers. Just kind of some, buy low candidates I think we can go after right now. And, Harrison Adonze, definitely not buy low candidates, but, guys that I don't think you'll be able to get them any cheaper than what you're getting them right now. Because I think they're still fresh. Like, no one wants to, like, Marvin Harrison, there's a good chance he went number 1 overall in your rookie draft. Like, I think it's going to be hard to pry him from somebody. Phil, do you like when I use the word pry, or is there something else you'd rather me use? I'm not.
No, I wanted to say this that you brought up. I got to give you some major props here. You had a good number of people listed out that prompted conversation. So I just wanted to raise a glass to you on that. So good job, Trent.
Thanks.
One of the
And
only
you-
times I'll give you a nod here.
Let's just work on using Google a little faster, especially when it comes to recipes. Man, it's got to be terrible. Like when you're bringing stuff to a potluck. It's like, hun, I'm still Googling something. It's like you're making pigs in a blanket. Like, how hard can it be, Phil? Like, just pick
Mac
the
and
first one. It was amazing.
cheese.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese. Yeah. No, it's
You're making Pop-Tarts,
listen.
bud.
Anyhow, you know what? I hope I don't know what we're going to say here. I was giving you a compliment and then
Thanks.
you turned it around into something negative.
Sorry. I will try to find 2 things I like about. No, I'm not going to do that.
Jordan,
All right.
what were your biggest takeaways from watching the game at Trent's house? Let's just get back to that. Can you just say 2 things that you were happy with and 2 things you were disappointed in?
Your wife's s'mores bars.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fair. which weren't on Phil's Mount Rushmore for Super Bowl snacks, I will say. I don't think anything he said on his list was there. Puppy Chow was a sleeper we missed.
Puppy Chow. Oh, yeah, Puppy Chow is good.
I don't know.
I will say Trent's sodas in that fridge are always just like not cold enough, right? They're almost like lukewarm.
Yeah, if I get it
Do you ever
cold,
feel like that, Jordan?
I don't drink sodas, but if I go too
really
cold with that
but...
fridge, Phil, they blow open. They blow up. That's my problem.
Oh, okay.
So I go out there, I don't drink the soda fast enough, and they all blow up in there, and I have a huge mess. That's my problem.
Yeah, let your friends suffer over getting a new fridge.
Yeah, I don't drink soda. That's the problem. You're the guy that comes over and does the soda. I agree. We need an ice problem. It's just then we got to get cups too.
I would have gladly brought ice.
Yeah, I had ice. Here's the problem. Little kids like ice, and they like playing with it. My kids love it. So if you want to, drink after a bunch of little kids playing with ice, then be my guest. I'm going to go shooting from the hip here, guys. Mount Rushmore, trying to do something every single week. I'm going to go Mount Rushmore. Let's go football movies. We've done football movie drafts. Mount Rushmore, you can kind of piggyback off of other people's. I'm not Googling anything. I'm not going to a list. I'm going straight from the old noggin, my top 4 football movies that I like. You want me to go? Does someone else want to go first? How do we want to do this?
No, go ahead. I want to hear yours.
I'm going to go just starting here, shooting from the hip. I'm going to go Friday Night Lights as my number 1. I think that's probably on everyone else's list. Number 2, I think I got to go Remember the Titans. Number 3, I'm going to throw Jerry Maguire in there. Show Me the Money. I like that one. It's a good one. I always enjoyed that one. Maybe not as much football action as you would like. I like that one. I think it's on my, maybe it's not, maybe I'm reaching there, but I'm not Googling anything. I'm not searching. And then number 4, what am I going to go here? I am not going to go with Rudy. I'm not going to go with Gus, the kicking donkey. Number 4, just going from the head here.
Game Plan.
Not Game Plan. I think number 4, let me see here. I'm going to go Replacements. That was no Google, from the hip, just shooting right there. You guys had time to Google. Probably not going to win here with the fans on what I would say, though. But I went Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans, Jerry Maguire, and what was the last one I just said right there, Phil?
Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans, Jerry Maguire,
Replacements.
and Replacements. Yep, I'll go. Yeah. I'll go with that. Here's the one that gets slept on all the time. Okay, and it's not Rudy. Rudy's too easy for me to go after.
I don't like Rudy.
Invincible. Invincible.
Invincible's good. Invincible's good.
Such a good movie with Mark Wahlberg. Philadelphia Eagles, very on brand right now with this. What this whole pod is about during their down years. That is a legit good football movie from Disney. I will, if that is on TV, I will designate time to watch it. Right? I actually haven't even looked at it and seen if it's on Disney Plus. So I need to watch that. Just a Friday night kick back, enjoy some. I
had a huge
Eagles
miss.
Football.
Okay,
that's a huge miss. Invincible is great.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. I wasn't going to say that. I have a huge miss though. But okay, what do you got after that? Invincible. What else?
So Invincible. I'm going to say Friday Night Lights. Absolutely love Friday Night Lights. Remember the Titans, number 3. Okay. So I gotta throw that in there. So you and I have some crossover there. I'm going to go with a comedy and just slightly inappropriate, but I am going to go with The Waterboy. I think that is a great football movie.
That was my miss. That was the one I said was a miss. That was the comedy. Waterboy is a better comedy than The Replacements, I will say.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So that would be my Mount Rushmore of football movies.
And it hurts me that didn't come to my mind, Phil. That did not come to my mind. So I feel bad.
The only one that I Googled was Invincible. I was like, yeah.
Okay. And right, you know what? I went, to be fair, ChatGPT, I had the top 4 nailed other than Rudy. Rudy wasn't in there. Sorry, I didn't have Replacements wasn't in there. Rudy was number 3 on ChatGPT.
Okay.
I'll go Remember the Titans number 1 for me. I think that's easily number 1. I'll go Invincible 2. I like Invincible. I'm going to go Longest Yard.
Okay, fair. New or old?
And then the newer one with the Adam Sandler.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go a little different. this is definitely personal preference. I'm gonna go with Radio. I always like Radio. If you consider that a football movie, I don't know.
I would consider that a football movie.
I also had a huge miss that I don't think Seth is going to say. How about Any Given Sunday? Did any of you guys watch that?
I haven't seen that. I need to throw that on my. I need to put that on my watch list.
I feel like it would always be on like AMC, FX on Sundays, and I would always watch it. Al Pacino, Jamie Foxx, Dennis Quaid, just an all-star cast. Lawrence Taylor is in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's a linebacker in a movie. And so anyhow,
why don't we let Phil do his? I mean, not Phil, Seth.
Go Seth. I get him mixed up a lot too, Jordan. Same wavelength.
I hate you,
man.
Go ahead, Seth.
Cramp. Oh, holy smokes. Anyways, okay. Remember the Titans, Friday Night Lights. Yes, everyone has those. This one, unslept on movie, Blind Side. That's a good movie. And then also, I've watched this one a lot with kids, Little Giants. I like that movie.
That is a good one. I watched that the other night. My wife said it was inappropriate for our kids, Seth. So glad that me and you are on the same wavelength when it comes to parenting.
Little Giants is inappropriate?
There's just some words in there that, you wouldn't want a 4-year-old saying.
I can't believe Seth has The Blind Side as his Mount Rushmore. I'm sorry, Seth, but like The Blind Side?
Yeah. Are you a girl or something?
And all right,
well, it might not be true. The actual story, according
that's
to
the thing. It's
no. But you want to know? Here's the problem with these football movies.
Honestly.
Here's the problem with these football movies. Rudy, whole movie's basically fake. Okay, remember the Titans? Gary Bertier doesn't get injured before the game. He plays in that championship game. That's a huge miss to that whole story. He gets in the car accident after the championship. Okay? That kind of makes the movie not as good, in my opinion. What else is there? Brian's song. No, I'm just kidding. I think Brian's song's actually
Brian Trent.
We Are Marshall.
Yeah, you know what movie we missed? Varsity Blues is pretty good, too.
I've never seen it.
I've seen it. It wasn't like, I think it got overhyped for me. I might need to watch that one again. I felt like it was a little overhyped. What was the other one? Friday Night Lights. They don't actually make it to the state championship in that. When they play Dallas Carter.
Is that for legit? I thought they made it to the state championship.
That was semifinals. They lost in semis. But Blindside and Rudy and Remember the Titans. Those are some key things. And I need to double check this. I want to say that wasn't the first year of segregation in Remember the Titans. I could be wrong on that. Someone Googled that though. So it wasn't like, it was a little more, or there was other schools in the area too. They weren't the only one. So
I want to know the Invincible. I want to know how close that is to real. Like that was, I feel like that one was all very possible. Yeah. I feel like that was all very, I mean, who knows if they were playing, tackle football in the mud out front of the bar, but like that, everything else is probably legit.
Yeah. It could have been blacktop for all we know.
Yeah.
But like Rudy though is the one that has a lot of holes in it. Like I heard Rudy doesn't even come around the program anymore because like guys like Joe Montana make so much fun of him. Like,
I think they hated him, right?
Yeah. Joe Montana said like no one turned in their jersey for him to play. Like there's a lot of stuff in there, like really good story, very motivational. But yeah, that one has probably the most.
I mean that inspired Trent to go to college.
I was just about to say that inspired you to play JV football. So it was like I begged all the guys to turn in their jerseys, but coach didn't care. I still didn't get to travel. No, anyways. I think that does it, guys.
That inspired Trent's 2-week stint on the freshman wrestling team.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of things that haven't been true on this pod, especially the last, 3 minutes. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll have some more stuff, coming at you every, all off season. Give me the follow over there at TFF Dudes. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a fun season, guys. Sorry for all the Chiefs fans that listen. I don't feel like we have a lot of Chiefs fans who listen, but I'm sure they're out there.
We have one on the pod.
I know. I wasn't talking to a diehard Chiefs fan who's all of a sudden telling us to buy Trevor Lawrence again. Anyways, guys, we will see you next Tuesday. And as always, take care.